When someone asks you who has been the MVP for Real Madrid this season, the obvious choice might be Jude Bellingham. Zidane with a hairline himself, the Ballon d'Or frontrunner, it's hard to go against him. Some people might even say Rodrigo has shown classes of his world-class potential, 10 goals and 5 assists to start the season. He's looked amazing. Some might even say Antonio Rudiger. Real Madrid's backline has seen just complete chaos, but there's always one constant world-class figure in that defense. But what if I told you it was none of these three? The real MVP of Los Blancos this season has been none other but the unsung hero of the midfield, Uruguayan Federico Valverde. Before we continue with the video, according to the analytics, 90+% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel, so please subscribe. I could use all the love and support. Just make sure to click. It just takes a few seconds to click those buttons. Back to the video. Born in Montevideo, Uruguay, to a casino security guard and a street vendor mother, Federico Valverde's life has been all about hustle. Surprisingly enough, his playing career almost did not kickstart due to a lack of hustle. Now I know what you must be thinking, right? Federico Valverde? Lack of hustle? It sounds like an oxymoron. But believe it or not, he used to fancy himself as a number 10. The number 10 position in football are like the dinosaurs. They're gone. But when he was a kid, Federico Valverde really fancied himself as a 10. And it wasn't until one of his youth coaches noticed his lack of hustle and just thought, maybe if he hustled more, he played in a box-to-box position, we could really see his true qualities. After that transition, everything exploded for him. He became a big part of Uruguay's youth setup and was in the academy of Uruguayan giants Peñarol. And for such a young player to be in Peñarol's system and to be the star of their academy in Uruguay, that's a huge deal. And it wasn't long until he made his debut for the Uruguayan giants. By age of 17, he was already a cemented starter into that first team. It only took a few months after that for European giants to show some interest. He nearly agreed a deal with Arsenal. Now can you imagine that? Federico Valverde with this Arsenal team? Whew. Now that would be in midfield. Declan Rice, Valverde, Odegaard. Jeez. Arsenal might have won the league with that midfield last season. But right before he signed those papers with Arsenal, the biggest club in the world came calling. Real Madrid. And who can ever say no to Real Madrid? So in 2016, he was brought over to the Spanish capital and brought into the youth setup. And just imagine this, his youth team was pretty loaded. It had the likes of Achraf Hakimi, Sergio Reguilon, and Martin Odegaard. Add Federico Valverde to it, that's a loaded B team. But obviously, it was going to be a major mountain for him to climb to make it into the Real Madrid first team, with the likes of Modric, Kroos, and Casemiro in midfield. After a loan move at Deportivo La Coruña, Federico Valverde returned to the Real Madrid team in 2018. The team, fresh off a three-peat, and one of the most loaded teams in Europe, even without Cristiano Ronaldo now. Again, it was going to be a mountain to make it into the team. But Julian Lopetegui noticed his potential and put him in the first team. But one thing is to be on the first team, and another thing is to start for the first team. And it wasn't until Solari came in after Lopetegui's sacking was when Fede Valverde finally started to get some momentum into the first team. But oddly enough, at the end of that 18-19 season, Zidane was finally the head coach of Real Madrid, and Zidane had a major task to deal with. He noticed that he had two midfielders of similar caliber and similar position, Marcos Llorente and Federico Valverde. This was going to be a tough choice for him. Zidane went with Fede. This decision would come with some bittersweet results, where he'd see himself starting for the Real Madrid team, and then other times where he wasn't picked at all and would be coming off the bench a lot of the time. But everything changed when Carlo Ancelotti walked into the door in 2021, and this is where he really would become Real Madrid's MVP. Now in the 2021-2022 season, there was no doubt who the MVP of that Real Madrid team was. Best player in the world that season, bar none. But there was something changing in Real Madrid. Modric's legs were getting heavier, Kroos' workload needed to be decreased as he was also getting older, and Casemiro was the only constant in defensive midfield. They needed someone to really back up those three in many ways. Insert Fede Valverde. Under Ancelotti, Valverde's playtime increased massively, as he saw nearly double the playtime that he saw under Zidane. But this was also because of his wild versatility, saw him play positions such as right wing, defensive midfield, he even played a game at right back in the Champions League quarterfinals. He's playing more positions than your favorite mattress actress. And all this playtime and improvement really culminated in the Champions League final, where Real Madrid was playing Liverpool in Paris. And when Real Madrid needed a moment, Fede Valverde passed the ball. Well, let's be honest, he took a shot across the box, found Vinicius Jr., and won Real Madrid the Champions League. And in that next season, this is where Federico Valverde was even talked about as one of the best midfielders in the world. That pre-World Cup 2022-2023 season was historical, as he bagged 9 goals, as he was forced to play right wing as Real Madrid's attacking depth in that position was decimated. Asensio was in and out of form, Bale was gone, Isco was gone, meaning that the midfielder had to play right wing. And at the end of the season, he finished with 13 goals, 7 assists, That's better numbers than the likes of Heung-min Sung that year. Now fast forward to this season, Federico Valverde's position is once again changed, but it is so vital to Real Madrid's new style of playing that he's the most important piece for this team. See, for the last few seasons, even when they won the Champions League, Dani Carvajal was in a very noticeable decline. Dani Carvajal is one of the best fullbacks of his generation, as he could defend, he can attack at both elite levels. But as he's gotten older, he's losing his legs and his defensive ability has really looked scary at times. But fast forward to this season, he's world class again and has to do a lot with his attacking output more than anything. Why is his attacking output so great this season? I'll tell you why. Federico Valverde. Valverde has to cover defensively now, the right side of midfield and the back end, meaning that he's basically playing right back and he's playing box to box. So all of Dani Carvajal's dirty work is done by Federico Valverde, which allows Real Madrid to finally have a right wing attack, because that's something they've been lacking. Even when Rodrigo's there, Rodrigo doesn't play out wide. Rodrigo likes to cut in, play centrally. Same with Vinicius. With Fede Valverde defensively playing an entire side, he allows players like Carvajal, Brahim Diaz into those attacking positions so much better. And not to mention, Fede Valverde can attack very well too. As we talked about earlier, his goal-scoring prowess for a midfield is one of the best in the world. Even this season, where he's been forced to play a more defensive position, he's still capable of a wonder strike like what he did against Napoli. And not just that, his progressive carries is also one of the best in the world, as he ranks in the 95th percentile of progressive carries, meaning that he's getting the ball into attacking positions better than 95% of midfielders. Oh, and his pass percentage in the 92nd percentile, meaning that he is so complete as a player. So this is a guy who could play defense, who could score goals, who could control the midfield. This is a Mr. Do-It-All. Because without Real Madrid's right-handed side this season, I don't know where they'd be. Vinicius was out, meaning that even their left-hand side was under trouble. And obviously, Jude Bellingham has bailed them out of so many situations. But without Valverde, maybe Bellingham would be forced to play a position that he's not comfortable with. So as many people say, a master of all is a master of none. But for the last 2 seasons, Federico Valverde has been a master of everything. So thanks for watching the video, guys. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. This is a new channel. Hope you guys liked the video. We're still growing that TFB family. Talk to you guys later.